Reporting after the close today, followed by Wells and J.P. Morgan at the end of the week. It is a big week. So what's the most important thing you should be watching for over the next few weeks during earnings season? Tyler Vernon is Biltmore Capital's Chief Investment Officer. He's live in Philly. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you on, especially after that spirited beginning of our show debating where the market goes next.
Yeah, weather's great here. It's great to be here.
Yeah, weather's good here in New York, too. Where are we going to go? I mean, it's you got to figure that earnings season is going to play probably the biggest role now, right? It's either going to validate, extend, or crush the rally.
Yeah. Well, as they say in Texas, hogs get slaughtered. And I think after such a big run up here since after Halloween, I think investors have to start getting a little bit more defensive here. Again, investors have not heeded warnings from the commodities markets showing slowdowns, or from bond markets. They've shrugged off, as you just talked about, jobs numbers. And I think when you have 100 companies in the S&P 500 or more that are revising downwards, it's a reason to start getting concerned. And you can't continue to focus on global liquidity and the fact that the Fed's central banks around the country will continue to pump liquidity into these markets. But
you still think you still think the yield hunt is what drives the market? The utilities, the staples, healthcare stocks, some of the more defensive, traditionally areas.
Yeah, I think you need to stay with higher dividend payers. You need to stay defensive. With bond prices down, our clients through all over the world are wanting, the first question you get is where to get cash flow. But I think the big thing that investors need to pay attention to is this strong dollar. People continue to forget that almost 60% of earnings in the S&P 500 are coming from companies outside of the U.S., are coming from countries outside of the U.S. And when you convert that into U.S. dollar-denominated earnings, you're going to see some real headwinds, and I think that's going to be the excuse du jour as earnings season continues to unfold. Yeah,
but I'm looking at your notes here, and correct me if I'm reading this incorrectly. You think commodities are going to come up and stocks are going to move down? I mean, if the dollar continues to strengthen, how are commodities going to move up in any sort of meaningful way?
Well, I think they were overly. I'm not saying they'll continue to strengthen. I think we've seen commodities move up already. We've seen dollar move up already. But I think there has to be some convergence between commodities and stock prices. There historically has always been a very high correlation there, and we've seen a very large disconnect. So in general, we think commodity prices are going to move up. We've seen that in some of the softs already. We're seeing that a little bit today, and I think stock prices have to come down to meet where prices are in commodities.
Hey, Tyler, it's Josh Brown. I saw that one of the names that you like here is Kinder Morgan, given the fact that there really isn't any currency issue with a company that's doing the majority of its business in U.S. infrastructure. Don't you think, though, that this MLP space has gotten a little bit ahead of itself, and we're certainly seeing a lot of new supply hit this market in terms of new stocks, new IPOs, or is there still enough room here to justify taking an outsized position?
I think it's a great way to stay defensive. Again, historically, you're right. I mean, MLP space is up big, over 20% over the last 3-4 months.
It seems a little frothy as well.
Well, it seems frothy, but I tell you, investors, the dividends continue to increase as a percentage. These dividends are moving up faster than inflation quite quickly. And at the end of the day, with a lot of baby boomers coming into this market looking for yield, I think it's going to keep a floor on the MLP space.
All right, Tyler, it's good to have you on the show. Thanks so much.
Great to be here.
All right, Tyler Vernon.